What is up, guys? This is Chris Roy 739, and today we're going to talk about the meta. What is it? What is it all about? The meta is the most popular amount of cards that are going about that work very well, but also basically what is the main way to play competitive, and what is the most popular and powerful way to be competitive. Today I'd like to explain a little bit where the meta is going and how the competitive game will continue to change with, I believe, the new set and the direction that it's going. Now, the last season, before the Cloud of Witnesses came out, everything was about cannot be negated. Then here came Colosseum. Colosseum negates all protect abilities on the field of battle and toss enhancements played in battle that have cannot be negated in the special ability, or that have no special ability. So here we are, cruising and bruising with your CBN deck, and boom, Colosseum comes down and you can't do anything. Then we had this cool little card last year that was the Serpent, that a lot more people use this year because people realized how good it is, plus with the extension of animals. Once per game, you may paralyze a human hero in territory for X turns. X is the number of cards opponent drew this turn. Limit 6. While paralyzed, restrict hero's owner from playing good dominance. Cannot be prevented. So that Son of God New Jerusalem that you're counting on, yeah, you can't use that for 6 turns. That is an awful, awful blow in every deck, in every single category of redemption to get that played on you. Then finally we had this big guy Moses that combined not only 3 other identifiers, but 3 different brigades with territory class, and almost all of the cards in the new expansion worked with him. Here's what I want to explain to you what the meta is right now because of these 3 cards. Right now cannot be prevented because of Colosseum and the Serpent, discarding characters in territory and keeping evil characters in your hand, and then playing down just a character with a bunch of negate enhancements and just weird combos is very, very good. A mid-range defense is now back in style, where you have a few negates with a ton of kill cards and maybe even a little hand control if you can fit it in. Now the offense has continued to swing in the way it's always been swinging, which is play fight by the numbers, as half fight by the numbers, half super draw, kill cards can't be stopped, which is honestly the direction the offense will always go, because those are the most powerful combinations and they're always going to be available. However, what this expansion did very well, using Moses as the main example, is that it started combining weird identifiers and weird classes together. We have Joshua, who bans the captain, and Joshua captain can be used in almost any deck, but it can be used better in particular ones. So you have to decide, do I want this combination in this deck or this deck? We had Sword of the Spirit and Everyman Sword, which was which were both multi. By the way, if you haven't checked that out, look it up on my channel about the swords review. Anyway, moving on, we had tons of evil characters that were introduced. The main ones I want to point out is Syrians. It beefed up a random identifier, and this was something that I talked about before the Cloud of Witnesses set even came out, is that if they boost cards that are based around identifiers, such as races of people, such as animals, judges, musicians, prophets, it's going to help the game. So moving on from that, I'm going to show one of the things that this new set did was it increased old cards, like Captain of the Host. It brought back old cards and made them good again. One of the videos that I'll have coming up here is about, or if I may have posted it before this, I don't know, is about a Philippi deck, which is combining the new cards with the older early church cards and make an amazing deck out of it. It brings up those old cards, such as Spy, with Rahab making Spy search for a lost soul and have that Scarlet Line CBN, or Joshua searching for that Spy. It makes Red have just a tiny bit more speed. Also going back to the now Samuel's Edict, even though it's an amazing card, you can run offenses 2 ways now because of Colosseum. It halves the meta, where you have decks that are using Colosseum to their full advantage, or you have Samuel's Edict people who are just, okay, I have a bunch of cards to get rid of Colosseum, and then I can use all my cannot be negated stuff. Or then you have halfway between where you're using a little bit of both. And what the great thing about splitting the meta is that it kind of creates a balance, because whenever you have two opposite ends facing each other that are totally on opposite ends of the spectrum, they have to meet at the middle. Moving on, the way it increased the defensive meta right now is usually to run a mono defense, maybe with a little bit of demons, which gave Messenger of Satan a whole lot. When you're running a mono defense, Messenger of Satan is just an instant add because it gives draw to any human mono defense, which is the big thing right now because you need a mid-range defense. So Messenger of Satan is just an amazing card for that, and it counters the newer meta stuff because it cannot be prevented, and it draws because of the number of good brigades in battle. Also Simon the Magician, because there is a bunch of Old Testament stuff, all these New Testament defenses are starting to pop back up and work again. Instead of having, Peter and John are always played, you're like, no, Peter and John are never in battle. They're never around. I might as well play them. Stuff is CBN, all the New Testament stuff is CBN. And then you work with the balance of, okay, do I want this Babylonian Old Testament offense, or do I want this new heretic offense? And then finally, Philistines are back because of King Achash, but mostly because of Colosseum. Because Goliath and all the Philistines were all about negate, 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 negate. Well, if something says cannot be negated, there's not too much you can do. But Goliath and the Philistines are bringing it back with Colosseum, and so because there's such a fear of Colosseum, it's impossible for someone to run pure CBN stuff. So, saying all this and going back over these cards here, there's lots of things that you can do. There's tons of identifiers that you can use. And there are an endless amount of decks that are and can be competitive. And that's where the meta is right now, is you need a deck that can keep up with the best of throne decks, that can beat slow full-out Genesis or Antediluvians or weird black turtle decks and sight decks, but also something, and you got to find something that's in the middle of that, that's unique to your play style and that you want to play. So that's where the meta right now is it's all about you creating that balance between Colosseum and Moses with the Throne of David cards and Judges cards just doing full-out draw. You have to find that balance between. And if you find that balance between and be a good player, you will take down any deck that you can face. So honestly, the meta is at a point where it's up to yourself. What would you like to run? What would you like to do? Obviously, there's some things that aren't boosted up enough, but is it a worthy cause to try and build a deck around it? Yes, because it's been proven in this last expansion that they're going to continue to boost identifiers, which means your identifier, your favorite class right now of animals or Egyptians, might be boosted the next set. So ask yourself, what do you want to do? Can it keep up with Throne of David? Can it deal with Colosseum? And can it fit your playstyle? Those are the three things that are qualifying for the meta. And if you do those three things, you're going to have an amazing deck. Alright, that's enough for this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Please hit the like and share button below, and I'll see you around next time. Bye.